Diplomatic shockwaves. The Zentari observation post hung like a crystalline snowflake against the darkness of space, its surfaces reflecting the light of distant stars. Inside, senior observer Xelk adjusted his sensor arrays with 4 of his tentacles, while using another to sip from a cup of fermented mineral broth. His shift had been uneventful until now, but something unusual had just appeared on his screens. Control, this is Observer Xelk. I'm tracking an unidentified vessel entering Sector 7. Configuration unknown, but appears to be primitive. He paused, double-checking his readings. Very primitive. The vessel in question was approaching at what seemed like a leisurely pace, its hull a patchwork of metals and composites that would have looked more at home in a museum than deep space. Large solar panels extended from its sides like wings, and what appeared to be chemical thrusters dotted its surface. The ship's designation, painted in bold letters across its hull, read FUINX. Acknowledged, Observer Xelk. Maintain surveillance and prepare for contact protocol. The Zentari prided themselves on being among the most advanced civilizations in known space. Their quantum crystalline technology was centuries ahead of most species they encountered, and first contact situations were routine. But something about this vessel made Xelk's tentacles twitch uncomfortably. He initiated a detailed scan, and the results made him emit a chirp of amusement. Chemical propulsion, primitive radiation shielding, and what appeared to be basic life support systems. The vessel's power signature was barely registering on his instruments. Control, requesting permission to initiate first contact. These beings appear to be early spacefaring. Classification level, developmental assistance candidate. Before Control could respond, 3 Kraxon warships dropped out of hyperspace, less than 1 million kilometers from the human vessel. The Kraxon were notorious pirates, preying on less advanced civilizations. Xelk's skin shifted to a pale yellow of concern. Control, we have Kraxon vessels approaching the unknown ship, requesting immediate diplomatic intervention. Negative, Observer Xelk. Maintain non-interference protocols. Document only. The Kraxon flagship transmitted its standard ultimatum. Unknown vessel, power down your systems and prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in immediate destruction. The response from the Phoenix was unexpected. A calm, confident voice replied in perfect galactic standard. This is Captain Amanda Torres of the Earth vessel Phoenix. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. However, we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. Xelk's tentacles writhed in distress. The human ship was hopelessly outgunned. The Kraxon vessels carried enough firepower to reduce small moons to debris fields. The Kraxon commander's response was predictably arrogant. Your primitive vessel is no match for our technology. Surrender now, and your crew may survive as laborers. About that primitive technology, Captain Torres's voice carried an edge of amusement. Allow me to demonstrate why appearances can be deceiving. What happened next would be debated in scientific circles for decades. The Phoenix's seemingly decorative solar panels suddenly shifted, revealing sophisticated weapon arrays that had been completely invisible to both Zentari and Kraxon sensors. The ship's hull rippled like liquid metal, shedding its patchwork appearance to reveal a seamless surface that seemed to absorb light itself. The Kraxon ships opened fire, their plasma cannons unleashing enough energy to vaporize a small city. The beams simply vanished into the Phoenix's hull without effect. Captain Torres's voice came through again. Our quantum absorption shell just converted your attack into usable energy. Thank you for the charge. Now, please observe our response. The Phoenix fired what appeared to be a single small projectile. It passed through the Kraxon flagship shields as if they didn't exist, then split into thousands of microscopic machines that spread throughout the ship's systems. Within seconds, the Kraxon vessel's weapons and engines went dark. Those were our phase-shifted nanite disruptors, Torres explained. Don't worry, your life support will continue functioning, but your weapons and propulsion systems are now permanently disabled. The same will happen to your escort vessels, if they don't power down immediately. The remaining Kraxon ships quickly surrendered. As Selk watched in stunned silence, the Phoenix transmitted detailed evidence of the Kraxon's criminal activities to every major law enforcement agency in the sector, along with their current location. Observer Selk. Torres's voice now addressed him directly, making him jump. We've been aware of your observation post since we entered the sector. Your technology is impressive, but you might want to update your sensor protocols. They're a bit primitive by our standards. Earth will be formally requesting diplomatic relations with the Zentari Confederation soon. We look forward to productive discussions about humanity's role in the galactic community. As the Phoenix moved to escort the disabled Kraxon ships to the nearest enforcement station, Selk began composing his report with trembling tentacles. How could he explain that the supposedly primitive vessel had been a masterpiece of technological deception? That humans had apparently achieved levels of technology that the Zentari had only theorized about. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never be quite the same after today. The quantum revolution. 3 galactic months after humanity's dramatic entrance into the interstellar community, the Zentari Confederation's Grand Science Council gathered for an unprecedented session. The chamber, usually a model of cold efficiency, buzzed with an energy that made the crystalline walls vibrate in sympathy. Senior researcher Kix stood before the assembled council, his tentacles twitching with barely contained excitement. Our analysis of human quantum technology has revealed something extraordinary. They aren't just advancing along a different technological path. They fundamentally redefined what we consider possible. The presentation holoscreen showed detailed scans of the Phoenix during its now famous encounter with the Kraxon Raiders. But these weren't ordinary scans. They penetrated layers of reality that most species hadn't even known existed. Look here. Kix pointed to what appeared to be empty space around the human vessel. What we thought was vacuum is actually a complex quantum field. The humans aren't just manipulating matter and energy. They're weaving the fabric of reality itself. High Chancellor Vextree's crystalline form pulsed with concern. And they've had this capability all along, while we thought them primitive. It's more complex than that. A new voice interrupted. Ambassador Wong stood in the doorway, his simple Earth diplomatic uniform, a stark contrast to the elaborate environmental suits worn by the Zentari. We weren't hiding our technology. We were growing into it. May I? Kix stepped aside, allowing Wong to approach the holoscreen. With a gesture that seemed to bend light itself, the ambassador expanded the display, showing layers of quantum information that the Zentari instruments hadn't even detected. Humanity took a different path than most species, Wong explained. While others reached for the stars through brute force and energy manipulation, we looked inward. We discovered that consciousness itself is a fundamental force of the universe, as basic as gravity or electromagnetism. The council chamber fell silent as Wong continued. Our ships don't just carry technology. They carry dreams. Every vessel in Earth's fleet is a blend of human consciousness and quantum mechanics. The Phoenix wasn't just hiding its capabilities. It was literally dreaming them into existence as needed. Impossible, one council member chittered. Consciousness cannot directly affect quantum states. The observer effect is exactly what we learned to harness, Wong smiled. We discovered that the act of observation doesn't just influence quantum states, it creates them. Once we understood that, everything changed. Our ships don't need massive engines or power plants because they don't fight against reality. They dance with it. The demonstration that followed would be discussed in scientific circles for centuries. Wong showed how human quantum technology could create stable wormholes without exotic matter, generate endless energy from what appeared to be empty space, and even temporarily alter the local laws of physics. But it was his final revelation that truly shook the council. The technology you've seen isn't our greatest achievement, Wong said softly. It's just a side effect. Our real breakthrough was understanding that consciousness and reality are two sides of the same coin. We're not just exploring space. We're exploring what it means to be conscious beings in a quantum universe. As if to emphasize his point, Wang's form briefly shifted, becoming a pattern of quantum possibilities before resolving back into human shape. This is why we reveal ourselves now. The galaxy is approaching a critical point. The barriers between thought and reality are growing thinner. Other species are starting to stumble onto these truths, but without proper understanding, the results could be catastrophic. High Chancellor Vextre's form had shifted to a deep blue of contemplation. You're offering to guide us. No, Wang smiled. We're offering to explore together. Humanity's path is just one way to approach these mysteries. Every species in the galaxy has something unique to contribute. The Zentauri's crystalline computing, the Arcanian's artificial intelligence, the Medusan's biological quantum effects, all pieces of a larger puzzle. The implications slowly sank in. Humanity hadn't just hidden advanced technology. They'd discovered a fundamentally new way of understanding reality itself. And now they were offering to share that understanding, not as teachers, but as fellow explorers. As the council erupted into excited discussion, Wang received a quantum transmission from Captain Torres aboard the Phoenix. The message was brief but urgent. The anomalies are spreading. Timeline accelerated. They're waking up. Wang's expression remained diplomatic, but inwardly he felt a surge of both excitement and concern. The revelation of human quantum technology wasn't just about sharing knowledge. It was preparation. Something was stirring in the depths of quantum reality, something that had slumbered since the beginning of time. Humanity had lifted the veil between mind and matter. Now they had to help the galaxy prepare for what lay behind it. The real adventure was just beginning. Echoes of transcendence. The Joint Species Research Facility hung in orbit around Centauri Prime, its vast rings spinning in perfect synchronization. Inside Laboratory Complex 7, Dr. Elena Patel stood before a diverse group of alien scientists, her hands hovering over what appeared to be a sphere of pure darkness. "The quantum void core is stable," she announced, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. "We're ready to begin the consciousness transfer experiment." The assembled scientists represented the most brilliant minds from 12 different species. The Zentauri's crystalline forms shimmed with anticipation, while the ethereal Etherians pulsed with barely contained excitement. Even the usually stoic Mechanian observers showed signs of interest, their optical sensors focused intently on the void core. Director Kivaran, a senior Etherian researcher, floated closer to the sphere. "To think, just 6 months ago, we considered quantum consciousness manipulation impossible. Now we're about to attempt direct neural transference across quantum states. Humanity didn't invent this technology," Elena reminded them, her fingers tracing patterns in the air that left trails of quantum probability. "We just discovered what was possible when we stopped thinking of consciousness as separate from the quantum fabric of reality." The experiment they were about to attempt would have been considered madness a year ago. They planned to transfer a volunteer's consciousness directly into the quantum realm, allowing them to perceive and interact with the fundamental forces of the universe directly. The volunteer was Commander Rax, a veteran of the Mechanian Defense Force. His mechanical body stood ready beside the void core, optical sensors glowing with determination. "My species has always sought to understand the boundary between organic and artificial consciousness," he said, his synthesized voice carrying unexpected emotion. "This may finally provide answers." Elena nodded to her team. "Initiating quantum field alignment. Commander Rax, are you ready to make history?" "Ready, Doctor. Though I suspect history is about to become a very relative concept." The void core pulsed as Elena's quantum-attuned consciousness interfaced with it. The sphere's surface rippled like liquid midnight, patterns of possibility dancing across its surface. Commander Rax's mechanical form began to glow with an inner light that defied conventional physics. What happened next would redefine everything they thought they knew about consciousness and reality. Rax's mechanical body remained standing, but his consciousness expanded into the quantum void. Through the monitoring systems, the assembled scientists watched in awe as his awareness spread across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Unity's dawn. The massive quantum display in Earth's combined fleet command showed thousands of ships converging on the Sagittarius Rift. Human vessels flew in perfect formation, with Centauri crystalline ships, Aetherian energy crafts, and Mechanian battle platforms. What had started with mockery of a seemingly primitive Earth vessel had evolved into the greatest combined fleet in galactic history. Admiral Helena Torres stood at the command center, her consciousness partially extended into the quantum realm, where she could perceive the approaching threat. The barrier between dimensions was failing faster than anyone had predicted, and through the widening cracks, something ancient and hostile was reaching through. Quantum breach expanding, reported Commander Rax, his hybrid consciousness spanning both normal and quantum space. The Void Hunters are converging on our position, but they're not attacking. They're waiting. Dr. Elena Patel's hands danced through the quantum interface, interpreting the impossible readings. The Architect's final tool is responding. All 7 artifacts are synchronized. The artifacts, massive structures discovered hidden in quantum space, had been the key to everything. Each one contained part of the Architect's final defense plan, requiring the combined knowledge and capabilities of multiple species to understand and activate. All fleet commanders, report status, Helena ordered, her voice carrying through both conventional and quantum channels. Centauri Crystal Fleet, ready. Our quantum-enhanced matrices are stable. Aetherian Consciousness Collective, prepared for dimensional interface. Mechanian Defense Force, quantum weapons primed. Earth Defense Fleet, quantum consciousness networks active. The reports continued, each species contributing their unique strengths to the coming battle. What they faced was beyond any single civilization's ability to combat, a force that existed outside their universe, attempting to break through and consume their reality. The quantum breach pulsed, sending waves of distortion across space-time. Through it, they could all sense the ancient enemy that had so terrified the Architects, beings of anti-reality that devoured dimensions whole, leaving nothing but void in their wake. The Architects didn't fail, Elena announced suddenly, her quantum-enhanced mind finally understanding the full scope of their plan. They didn't just leave us tools, they left us a chance to evolve beyond what they were. Each species developing in isolation, then coming together, combining our unique approaches to consciousness and reality. We're not just using their defense system. Rax continued, his mechanical form glowing with quantum energy. We are their defense system, the final evolution they hoped for. Helena nodded, feeling the truth of it in both normal and quantum space. All ships, initiate consciousness synchronization. Begin quantum reality reinforcement. The Architects showed us the way. Now we make it our own. What followed defied description in any known language. The combined fleet, representing 12 different species and approaches to existence, linked their consciousness through the quantum realm. The Architects' artifacts pulsed in harmony, creating a framework that allowed this impossible unity of minds and methods. The Void Hunters, ancient guardians of reality, joined their consciousness to the network. They had never been enemies. They had been waiting for this moment, for species capable of joining them in reality's defense. As the dimensional breach reached critical size and the beings of anti-reality began to pour through, they faced something unprecedented. A unified consciousness of multiple species, each contributing their unique perspective and capabilities to create something greater than the Architects had ever imagined. Centauri crystalline technology refracted quantum consciousness through higher dimensions. Aetherian energy manipulation shaped the very fabric of space-time. Mechanian precision guided impossible weapons, and humanity's quantum consciousness technology bound it all together, creating a new kind of defense that existed simultaneously across all levels of reality. The battle raged across dimensions, incomprehensible to any single mode of consciousness. But through their unity, Through the combination of every species' unique gifts and perspectives, they did what the architects alone could not. They forced the ancient enemy back, sealing the breach not just with technology or power, but with the combined will of evolved consciousness itself. When it was over, when the breach was sealed and reality stabilized, something had fundamentally changed. The united consciousness of multiple species had touched something profound, a new understanding of existence itself. In the quantum realm, Helena perceived timelines stretching into infinity. "We're not going back, are we?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "We can't," Helena replied. "And we shouldn't. This unity, this combination of different approaches to consciousness and reality, it's not just a defense system. It's the next step in evolution, just as the architects hoped." Commander Rax's quantum-enhanced consciousness resonated with agreement. They didn't fail. They succeeded beyond their greatest hopes. They gave us the tools, but what we built with them was beyond even their imagination. The massive fleet hung in space, its ships still linked in that impossible unity of consciousness. They had started as separate species, each thinking they knew the limits of what was possible. Now they had become something new, not by abandoning their unique perspectives, but by bringing them together into something greater. "Send word to all worlds," Helena commanded, her voice carrying through quantum space to every ship and station. "The threat is contained, but more importantly, we found a new way forward, together." As the fleet began its journey home, the quantum realm pulsed with new possibilities. The species that had once mocked a seemingly primitive Earth vessel now stood united in a way none had imagined possible. They had faced the ultimate threat not through dominance or superior force, but through the power of combined consciousness and unified will. The galaxy would never be the same, but then that had been the plan all along, not just humanity's plan or the architects, but the ultimate destiny of consciousness itself, finally realized through the unity of all.